I know I have a bit of a reputation for being a cozy game gal, and it is true. I do love a light colour palette, a jaunty soundtrack and cute animals, but I also love a little bit of substance. You know, an interesting plot, an engaging gameplay cycle, or even just something a little bit new and different from the hundreds of other games that the tag cozy comes with on Steam. So Collector's Cove had quite a lot of work to do in being named one of my go-to cozy games. But did Collector's Cove make itself stand out from the crowd? Or is it just another colourful bore fest? Well, before I give away all the game's secrets, support real people that make real things over at patreon.com/idreamofindiegames, where your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. Collector's Cove is a farming sim with a bit of a twist, because your farm is sat on the back of a giant sea creature who sails you from island to island, so you can collect resources, open chests, and catch all the different kinds of fish. Our main goal on our journey is to fill our collector's compendium with all the different kinds of fish and crops in each of the 4 biomes. Which sounds easy, but I bet you didn't factor in the conditions which have to be met in order to get to the fabled versions of everything you collect. And why are we collecting all this stuff, I hear you ask? Well, to be honest, in a sort of sad turn of events, our parents have abandoned us to go to Collector's Cove, a place you can only enter if you are a named collector, aka the top rank, and so we must work our way up the ranks by filling in our compendium and exploring new shores should we ever wish to see our parents again. We begin exploring Tropical Trove, meeting our dad's friends who are there to help you get set up, who just so happen to be 3 brothers who may or may not all be the same guy in different hats. These guys cover some of the important things you need to do to progress. Jerry is the go-to guy to buy seeds and sell produce, Terry a resource trader and upgrade giver, and then lastly there is Larry, who is always hiding on the islands. But he is the one who can help you buy accessories for your sea creature, blueprints for decor, and hints at how to get fabled creatures. All 3 can be summoned to your location with just a ring of a bell, though their boat does stop yours from moving, which I didn't realise at first and did spend a little while waiting to arrive at the next island, only for me to realise I had to send the lads away first. Speaking of fabled creatures, they are the main gameplay diversion from other cozy games. Every type of crop or fish needs to be harvested or caught a certain amount of times in order to gain a piece of information about how to gain their magical counterpart. Catch a clownfish 5 times to find out how to make the correct bait, and then once you've caught enough higher level clownfish, you'll finally find out what you need to do in order to catch the mystery fish. These challenges are anything from have 3 light sources on your boat, to walk through the harvestable crops 3 times, to craft this mystery fertilizer that needs ingredients from multiple biomes. Sometimes you may accidentally stumble upon the correct condition and skip the need for a second set of harvests, but most of the time you'll need to ensure you have enough seeds and fertilizer to discover them all. Outside of fishing and farming, there are a few other bits to do. You'll need to visit all the islands in each area to gain a whole variety of resources, though the main difference per biome or location is the wood and ore type, because those can only be found in certain places, and you'll need to re-explore areas if you run out of resources. Also on the islands are more fishing spots, a few harvestable crops, and chests of both the standard and special variety that can only be opened by turning off the 3 totem poles around the island. These islands themselves are randomly generated and change with each expedition, meaning you never know where you'll find a chest. While on your boat travelling between islands, there are also a few other things you can do. Be that fish for more innocent sea creatures, build furniture to decorate with, feed your fishy pal both regular and fated creatures, or use the plunger gun to bring in flotsam that drifts by. Or, alternatively, you can just take a nap to help pass the time. It is worth noting that once you enter a different location, only the crops native to that region will grow on your boat, which means you may end up with planters full of half-grown crops unless you dig them back out of the ground, or just leave them until you return to that location, which may be tricky with such little space on your boat until you potentially upgrade. There are 4 different ways to unlock or evolve your personalised character. Every time you fish, farm or feed your aquatic pal a fabled item, you'll increase the level of your little collector, giving you new skills, unlocking items that make life a little easier, or opening up entirely new areas. The levels unlock at a pretty consistent rate, never taking too long to get from one to the next, though in the fishing or farming levels the unlocks are relatively minimal, so they're not always very noticeable. With every new area you unlock and resources you gather, you'll be one step closer to the next unlockable tool level or boat upgrade, and if you're not sure what you're working towards, you can log it into your notebook to help keep track of the required resources. One of the only bugs I encountered had something to do with the quest log, and specifically the boat upgrade, as even once I had completed it, the quest never left my log and sat right at the top of my list of tasks no matter what. I did have a lot of fun playing Collector's Cove. The general gameplay loop is simple but satisfying, and the challenge to collect the fabled items is enough of a challenge that I had to knuckle down and work towards some of them. However, I don't know if the game is as unique as perhaps it would like to be. Sometimes I felt it took too long to get from island to island, or certain requirements took a lot of collecting and going back and forth between locations, which just felt like it dragged on a bit. I feel like it is a great game to play while you're listening to a podcast or watching TV, as there really isn't much to think about and it can be a little mind-numbing to just engage with the game. Saying that, the music and sound design is still very lovely. It's cozy and cheerful and changes with the location you visit or based on what you're doing. Though I will say there seem to be significant periods of time where there wasn't any music playing, background or otherwise, which is fine every now and again, but it felt like there was no music more often than not. When it does play, the music works perfectly with the colourful world Voodoo Duck has designed. Your aquatic pal can don a whole school of different hats and glasses, so you can ride in style. Not to mention the fact that they're already incredibly cute and customisable to your specific taste. Plus, the various locales all have their own styles, be that tropical, haunted, icy, or covered in sakuras and inari gates. And each location affects not only the produce, but also the lighting, the decor of your boat, and the chest challenges you'll want to solve. Alongside the overall visual design, Voodoo Duck has had what I could only imagine was a very fun time when naming and designing all of their fabled produce and fish, as almost all of them are cleverly tied in with their real counterparts, whilst also being suitably whimsical. Our clownfish turns into a comedian fish, sweet potato becomes a sour potato, our spring onion requires you to spin the camera around in a circle and comes out looking like a spring, and all of the wonderfully concocted puns and designs really did make me chuckle. So I have to give props to the whole team on that part of the game specifically. Other than the bug I mentioned, I didn't encounter any real issues with the game. There was once or twice I did get myself stuck on something, but thankfully a big helpful I'm stuck button in the pause menu got me out of bother. The game isn't Steam Deck verified as of yet, and unfortunately I didn't get a chance to check its performance on the handheld, but given it's not a particularly intensive game, I like to hope we'll be okay. There isn't really anything in the way of accessibility in the settings, and I could see a few things being a little difficult for players who may be visually impaired, specifically the diggable holes, waterable ladders and mineable rocks, but hopefully something can be implemented should that be an issue for players. Overall, I think Collector's Cove is a lovely little jaunt. The perfect background game or time sink should you, like me, always need to keep your hands busy. With its 15+ hour runtime, there's plenty to see, collect and do. I just worry that after the first 5 to 10 hours, we may see players dropping off for something a bit more engaging. In a world full of Animal Crossing likes, cozy but bland games and farming sims out the wazoo, I hoped Collector's Cove would stand out a little more than it did, though nothing is inherently wrong or broken about the game, so I have a hard time levelling any specific criticism at any of the gameplay or design elements. Perhaps Voodoo Games would have been smart to add some more story beats or more diversity into its gameplay, but as it stands, I am worried it has ended up a bit mid. At I Dream of Indie Games, we do believe that games are so much more than a number, and that's why we have our Genie Lamp tier system. You want to avoid that dreaded Indie Krampus at all costs, but we go all the way up to the elusive golden Genie Lamp of approval. And when it comes to Collector's Cove, I'm awarding this release a bronze Genie Lamp of approval.